Hello everyone, Andrew Burns from Running to Keep Up here with you again. First of all, I want to thank you for being here, for sharing some of your valuable personal development time with me, watching this video, listening to this broadcast. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope that in exchange I can provide you with some strategies that are going to help you improve your productivity, limit the impact of procrastination in your world, and help you build new and useful habits into your life. So stick with me. This week I was asked a question, and that question was, what's the point? What's the point in personal development? And more specifically, what's the point in goal setting? The person asking me this is smart, astute, has achieved a lot in his lifetime, and so the fact that he was even asking me that, he could have just been challenging me. I will accept, but the fact that he was even asking me that, and the amount of time that I spend reading, writing, talking, teaching about personal development got me thinking: have I been wasting my time? I've heard the arguments against personal development before, of course. Lots of people point to some negative aspects. They feel that personal development books, courses, trainers even, breed dissatisfaction, because what they're doing is asking people to focus on the negative aspects of their lives, of their personalities. I find it very difficult to subscribe to that point of view. It's kind of like saying, I don't want to learn, I don't want to be educated, because with that learning and education shines a light on what I don't know. And that's a flawed argument, isn't it? Because the way to resolve what you don't know is to go and gain that knowledge. So for me, personal development is about lifelong learning. It is less about the things that I lack today. It is about me being better tomorrow. And I think that's what I'm striving for. I believe that's what you're striving for as well. To be a better version of you tomorrow, regardless of how you're performing today. So personal development is education, and I think we can all agree there's nothing wrong with that. So what about goal setting? Well, we set a goal for ourselves right there, didn't we? We set the intention of wanting to be better tomorrow. That's a goal. For me, our brain, the human brain, is a goal-setting machine. We're setting and achieving goals all the time, just to get yourself out of the house in the morning, making sure your family is fed in the evening, building that shed in the garden. All of these are goals. You've identified an outcome that you want to achieve, and you've made a plan to get there and to achieve that goal. And for lots of people, that kind of seat of the pants goal setting is good enough, and I'm all for that. I want people's lives to be as simple as possible. I want my life to be as simple as possible. But what I find is that if I keep things too simple, if I keep things too casual, if I don't formalize things enough, then I start to feel overwhelmed. And so what I need to do in the face of things that are too simple is to create a little bit more complexity in order to resolve that overwhelm. And what that complexity looks like in terms of goal setting is to formalize the planning of that goal. What does formalized planning of a goal look like? Well, there was a study done amongst orthopaedic patients in Scotland in the 1990s, and what they found was, so these patients had hip replacements. So if you've ever seen video or know someone who's had a hip replacement, you know that this is a brutal operation We are talking about broken bones. We are talking about severed tendons, severed ligaments. We are talking about metal spikes being inserted down the center of bones. We are talking about hammers and nails and screws being put into your body. It is brutal, and the recovery is equally brutal, but equally important, because what the patients who have undergone that brutal operation have to do is get that joint moving as quickly as possible, because if they don't, scar tissue is going to form around their new joint, and the increased mobility that they're after, that their surgeon is trying to achieve for them, will be significantly limited. So they have to get moving as quickly as possible. They have to do lots of rehabilitation. So there was a study of these patients in the 90s in Scotland, and some of the patients were given like a workbook to write down their rehabilitation. And what the researchers found was that the patients who made a detailed written plan of their rehabilitation were walking again twice as fast as those who didn't make the same plan. So what did that detailed plan look like? It was how, when, where these people were going to do their rehabilitation exercises. It was what they were wearing even. It was, crucially perhaps, it was addressing where they thought the challenges, the sticking points, the points of resistance might come in their rehabilitation program, and how they were going to deal with those points of resistance. So I've talked about this kind of thing before when it comes to habit formation, and it's exactly the same here in goal setting. If in advance of you trying to achieve a difficult goal, you write down your intention, you write down how, when, where you're going to take the action that's going to lead you towards your goal. If you're very specific about what challenges you foresee in achieving your goal, and make a plan for how you're going to deal with those challenges, you can get to your outcome twice as fast. That's what this study from Scotland taught us. I think that's extraordinary. So, what's the point of goal setting? The point of goal setting is that's how we get through our lives. What's the point of formalizing that goal setting? What's the point of putting it in writing? Well, the point is that by thinking through your goal, thinking through the steps to achieve your goal, thinking through what could go wrong and how you will deal with that, with those challenges along the way, will get you to your end point significantly faster than if you do it all in your head. I'm going to go one step further, actually. In creating your written plan, I would recommend that you do it by hand, not typed on a laptop on a screen. Write it down. There's something about handwriting that really kind of grooves the ideas into our brains as we go. Again, if you've engaged with any of my work elsewhere, whether that be written, video, audio, you'll know that I find it a real challenge to sit in front of a blank screen with a flashing cursor, and I much prefer to do my writing by hand. Now, sometimes that's with a pencil, sometimes that's with a fountain pen, sometimes that's with a stylus on a tablet screen, but handwriting is how I get my thoughts out of my head. And I think if you're doing goal setting the way that I'm talking about it, if you do that in handwriting by hand, again, pencil, pen, stylus, it doesn't really matter, but the kinesthetic interaction with the words that you're forming grooves them into your brain and really gets your brain used to the idea of where you're going, how you're intending to get there, and how you're going to face the challenges that are going to crop up along the way. So as I record this, it is close to the turn of the year. It's actually New Year's Eve. And so this is a time of year when lots of people are setting goals. But to reiterate something that I said in another video recently, don't leave your goal setting to ideas that you pluck out of the air at midnight. Take some time to plan them out. Write them down. Write down your plan. What, how, when, where. Think about the challenges. Think about how you're going to deal with them when they arise. The plan that you come up with might change over time. It might be incomplete, but what it's going to do is set you on that uncertain path much faster than if you leave those plans in your head. So once again, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you find some value here. I hope you take some time to plan out those goals that are on your mind, and bear in mind those hip replacement patients from Scotland. They were walking twice as fast if they planned out their rehabilitation. You can achieve the same results. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, make your plans. Thank you for watching. Below there will be links to the original article that I wrote on this topic over on medium.com. You can find the transcript of this video on my blog site, runningtokeepup.com. You can download the audio version of this video if that's not what you're listening to currently. You can get that from soundcloud.com or from wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Running to Keep Up and you will find this. In the meantime, all that remains me to say is thank you once again and to wish you the very best of productivity. Take care, everyone.